Hi everyone, how are you doing? Today I want to share the 5 things that I wish all of my patients knew before having a full mouth rehabilitation. So when I talk about full mouth rehabilitation, this can mean a number of different solutions. It could mean all on four, where we take out teeth, you have fixed teeth all in a day on implants. It could be clip-in dentures. It could be a complex restorative solution where we use a combination of dental implants, veneers, whatever we need to in order to achieve that end goal for that patient. And the first thing to understand is that there are options. So even if we take a standardized treatment, kind of like all on four, where the process is typically you take out all of the bad teeth, you put implants in, and the patient would leave that same day with a set of temporary teeth. A couple of years ago, we took a CT scan for one of our patients, and it turned out that all of his teeth had these really big infections. And I knew that if we were going to take those teeth out, there would be no bone to put our implants in. So we had to change our strategy. What we did in that case was we just took out a whole bunch of teeth. We left some in there, and then we made a temporary bridge. So at least the patient had something fixed for a period of time. And after 6 months, we were able to take out those remaining teeth. We had good, healthy bone. We put our implants in and achieved a fantastic result for him. But let's not forget about the other solutions like clip-in teeth. Not only do these look much more real and much more natural than an all-on-four, they're also a lot easier to clean. You can just take the things out and clean around our implants. If everything is clean, it's going to last longer. And then a complex restorative, which is where you try and keep as many of your own teeth as possible. This has the advantage that you have your own teeth in certain places. You've got that sensation. Nothing feels as natural as having some of your own teeth in your mouth. Now, it may well be that not all of these options are available to you, but equally, your situation may not be as bad as you think it is. You see, I would estimate that about 30% of the people who call us and say, hey, look, I want to have all my teeth out, I want to have all on four because my situation is that bad. When we sit down and we look at the x-rays, we actually realize, well, you know what, there are a couple of different avenues. How about you think about this? So quite often our patients will leave with a number of different choices, and they can think about what the best solution is for them going forward. This takes me to point number 2, which is nothing is going to last forever. No matter how much money you spend, it does not guarantee that things are going to last for as long as possible. There are so many variables in this whole mix of treatment options. So for example, if somebody's having a complex restorative solution where we're using all different kinds of ways to rebuild teeth, crowns, bridges, veneers, the implants, all this kind of stuff, what I'll typically tell them is, hey, look, I can't guarantee that we're not going to have problems going forward, even if you come and see us for checkups and hygiene sessions. But I would like to think that if we were going to get a problem in the future, it would be a single tooth problem. Kind of like if you buy a car, after a number of years, something small happens, you need to buy tires and stuff like that. So there is going to be a maintenance cost with almost everything that you do. Even with a treatment like all on four, where we're taking out all of the teeth and you're having fresh implants placed in fresh bone, this isn't going to last forever. There are a number of things that can be done to improve the lifespan, maybe take it from 10 to 20 years or even further. And I feel a lot of these are quite subtle in the way that the treatment is done. So for example, one thing that I personally like to do is to ensure that all of my implants are placed a little bit kind of inside. Okay, if we're talking about the top teeth, a little bit towards the roof of the mouth. This might interfere with speech a little bit, but it has the advantage that the gum surrounding all of my implants is a really strong, thick gum, and the gum is the first layer of protection around peri-implantitis, which is basically having gum disease around the dental implants. Other things are almost non-negotiable. So if we're again looking at an all-on-four treatment, making sure that the bridge is well fitted on the actual implant, so the teeth are fitting well against the implants, but also they are very cleanable. The number of cases that we've seen where patients have had stuff done, and it could be abroad, but sometimes it's even here in the UK, that the bridge is impossible to clean. You take it off, this thing, and there's food trapped underneath it. The gums are raw, red, and inflamed. And this doesn't typically hurt, but I can almost guarantee that within a few years, you're going to have so much bone loss around some of these implants that we're going to lose some of the implants, and you'll be in a worse situation than you are then from when you started. So for me, the two most important things when it comes to longevity of anything implant related is the implant position itself. It needs to be really, really accurate, but also the cleansability of the final prosthetics. If this stuff is all pretty good, the actual implant you use doesn't matter so much. The materials of the teeth don't matter so much. All of this other stuff matters a bit, but I would say those two main things, the position and the cleanability, are the most important things. And the thing that's tying hand in hand with the position is the quality of gum around the implant. Wear and tear is normal. If you have clip-in dentures, for example, the material is a little bit softer. So if you look at the teeth after 5-10 years, there are going to be signs of tooth wear on the teeth, and this is just normal. But again, this is a kind of a maintenance thing. Just have in your head that, you know what, no matter what you have, there is going to be a maintenance involved, and therefore, years down the line, if things need to be redone, it's not like you're starting again, but there is a little bit of cost involved at that point. But really, if you have things maintained, hopefully nothing bad happens with our implants. We have had situations where we've seen patients and they've had all on fours and all of the implants need to be removed because they're all infected. But I feel a lot of this could be minimized if the patients had maintained by going to see the hygienist and having the bridges removed and regularly checked, because a small problem is much easier to fix than a big problem. The next thing I want everybody to know is that it doesn't hurt, okay? It's not comfortable, and sitting in a chair for a long period of time is, again, it's not comfortable. But for those people who we do provide this treatment for, after the anesthetic's done, okay, it's usually not a terrible experience. Everybody says, actually, it really wasn't as bad as what they were thinking it to be.
So I tell you, the worst thing about it, which considering it's like when you think about it, it's a pretty big surgery, right?
It's long.
It's long. It is long, which makes it big. I mean, all right, you're not being cut open and whatever, but it's a big. So, but I can honestly say the worst thing about it was I had a bit of jaw ache because my mouth was open all day, and the roof of my mouth got a bit dry and sore. But other than that, apart from the odd little stab of pain every now and again, which I mean, come on, we were there for 8 hours. It was actually, I was quite surprised. It was really comfortable for such a big thing going on.
Again, there are a few tricks to doing this. Number one, I feel, is really putting our patients in control. Because we spend so long at a consultation understanding the pros and cons of each solution, I feel our patients are more in control of what's happening, and they know what's happening at that appointment, so they can kind of mentally prepare for it. This helps a lot. Then when we're actually giving the anesthetic, we give a lot of anesthetic for this kind of thing. And then we don't rush. We give it a good 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes for it to really work. And only at that point do we actually start the treatment. I mean, how many times have you been to a dentist where you've had the injection and within a minute they've started with the filling or the crown prep, whatever it is? Now, those kinds of treatments are much less invasive than an implant, so quite often you can get away with it. But really, having done this for over 10 years now, the longer you can leave the anesthetic to work, the nicer it is for our patients. The fourth thing to understand is that there is going to be a big transition period. So let's look at any of these treatments, really. The first thing we want to do is get into really good temporaries. So you have the surgical phase where the implant's going in, and quite a lot of the time we can have good looking temporaries going in straight away. Now, the term good looking is so subjective. I might think they look great, but when you go home, sometimes it won't feel right. They'll feel too thick. You won't be able to talk. You won't like the appearance. They might be too white. They might be too dark. The midline might be off. There's a whole bunch of things that initially may not be perfect for you. The important thing to realize is that these things, it's always a little bit of a journey. And eventually we're going to get to a point where you absolutely love the end result. as long as you yourself are realistic. Because at the end of the day, we're taking a situation which has deteriorated so much and we are going to basically reverse it. We're not going to get to a point where you have your natural teeth back. That's impossible. And if you have a very strong vision of exactly what you're after, sometimes that might not be achievable for a whole bunch of reasons. So, my honest advice is try and be a bit chilled out about it. Expect a good result, expect a nice result, but let's not go into micro details. If the look of the final smile is really, really important to you, I would definitely recommend seeing a dentist who spends a lot of time in the aesthetics, because that's all artistry. It's all very time consuming getting the micro details right. It's amazing when a smile looks great and it looks natural. But now we're moving away from the science of the dental treatment and we're going towards the aesthetics and the art side of things, and it's a different skill set. And the fifth thing, which I think is really overlooked, is the relationship between the clinician and you yourself as a patient. Look, if we're going down this route, it is a long journey. And for a lot of people, it's a really smooth journey and there's not that much interaction. But sometimes things don't go right. Let me give you two examples. I'm shooting this video on a Saturday. I flew back from a holiday late last night and I was texting the team, has this patient's temporaries arrived? Because we did an all-on-4 for him maybe about a month ago, and his temporaries have broken. He now has no teeth. So although our patient is actually quite chilled out about this, it's really high priority in my mind because we have a relationship together. He's trusting me to help him, and I really want to deliver on this. So before shooting this video, I saw him, we fitted a new set of temporaries. It was way more complicated than I thought it was going to be. It took a long time. But anyway, the point is, not everybody's treatment will go smoothly. And if you've got a good relationship with your practice and clinician, they will do everything that they can to help you if you need that help on this journey, if you have an emergency. And the second example that I want to give you is a patient who we did all-on-4 for a couple of months ago now. And his situation was particularly complex. He had hardly any bone at the top. We had to use something called a zygomatic implant on both sides, two normal implants at the front. And even at the bottom, his bone profile was really weird and it was really difficult to do the treatment. Anyway, we did the treatment, everything seemed fine, and about a month later, one of these implants was loose, okay? And it was the front implant, the easiest of all of the implants that we did. And I took another CT scan, and it turns out that a little bit of that implant was actually in the sinus. His sinus was much bigger than I kind of appreciated, and the implant positioning was slightly off. So really, it was my fault. And this is the thing. Sometimes things don't go to plan, and it's not because of lack of experience. I've done hundreds and hundreds of these cases. It was just something that happens. And in this case, to correct it, we booked 1 hour, we took out the implant, we put another implant in a better position, and that was it. Usually, if something happens like this, it's not a big thing to correct it. Yes, there's a little bit of hassle involved, there's a little bit of time, a little bit of extra recovery, a few more injections. But if you've got a good relationship, this isn't really a big thing at all. Obviously, there was no cost in any of these scenarios that I'm describing. And also, because my patients are nice, as a clinician, I want to do everything to help them. On this flight that I came home on yesterday, it was a busy flight. It was from Geneva to London, so it wasn't a long flight, maybe just over an hour. And as we're all boarding, there's one lady who is really kicking up a fuss because she says her seat is wet. And you can imagine everyone's got their luggage, you're going down this tiny aisle, you can't really move forward and back. But this lady is creating such a big fuss. And then when I walked past her, there was literally 3 drops of water on her seat. And I thought to myself, thank God I don't have patients like that. Because I thought, this person is a customer, but they're making the cabin crew's life unreasonably hard. So if you're going down this journey and something bad happens, honestly, don't stress about it. If you're reasonable, then everybody's going to want to help you and resolve the issues as quickly as possible. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about how a treatment, specifically all-on-4 treatment, has changed massively over the years. And the big changes in 2026. I seem to do a video like this every year, and it's surprising how a treatment can evolve and be more beneficial to a lot more patients. So join me for that video. I will see you soon. Take care.